shots fired for all the value, the gems, all of the things that he dropped earlier today. And like I said, day two, welcome to day two of Ignite Your Video Lifestyle Success Series. I am your host, if you don't know, Monique Johnson, and this is the third edition of this. And so today's a special day because we got two guests, all right? And before we bring out the lovely lady that we have on cue, let's talk a little something about this. If you don't know, the Ignite Your Video Lifestyle Success Series is the opportunity where I was very strategic, and I am constantly being strategic as to who I asked to be a part of it. I like to say, I am bringing in what I call business veterans who are just like you, and even if you're a newbie, business veterans is who you want to learn from so you can no longer have that steep learning curve and make it more so of a flat learning curve just by learning from their mistakes, their initial, I guess, headaches that they had. But more specifically is how these business veterans are utilizing the amazing medium of video. Y'all know I love me some video. I'm all about video. And so, these people that I have coming on are utilizing it and making it ultimately what I call part of their video lifestyle. And a lot of times, even some of them are not only just using it for business, but also integrating it into their personal brand. And so if you guys want to learn as to who else that I have lined up, the schedule, be sure to check out the links that I have either above or below this video to get your event packet agenda. It's free, where you can learn more about the speakers, etc., etc., and also the opportunity for you all to watch the replay. So, we kicked it off yesterday, and shout out to Rebecca, who just said she loves her some video. Yes, girl, I love me some video too, right? But, yesterday we kicked it off with Ian Dunlap, who dropped amazing insights about utilizing video in the investing space, right? Because we know that's something that's really important right now based on the times that we're living in. And then earlier today, we had Dre Baldwin. And then today, oh my goodness, I'm so excited to have Liz Simpson. All right, so I know I'm doing a bunch of chatter right now, but without further ado, let's bring on Liz. Welcome, Liz.
Hey girl, how you doing?
How are you? How are you?
I'm good. I'm on 10 because I get to come kick it with you for a little bit and talk about video with the video pro, but I'm good.
That's awesome. It's awesome. And actually, comments coming in, which we'll talk about this, saying it's getting hard to be approved for LinkedIn video. I'm assuming the person who is saying this, you're talking about live, which is not readily available to everyone. That is an application process. Yes, it is a tedious process. In fact, y'all know I love me some video. I've applied already twice and been denied. So, yeah, we all know there's a whole series behind that. But if you guys participated in the second series, I had Brent Leary, who has access to LinkedIn Live. And if you're not consistently utilizing LinkedIn video, which I am guilty of, and hence why we have Liz here, it's harder for you to get accepted. So that's just an FYI kind of hack, just in case y'all didn't even know. So with that said, Liz, for those who don't know who you are, please let us know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, I'm a sales trainer and consultant, so I'm all about helping people secure the bag. I just did a post today, with everything that's going on. There's so many statistics that show, like Black women business owners, our businesses average 24,000 versus the 142,000 of our counterparts. Small business owners, 86% of them only average less than $100,000 in revenue. So I work with B2B service-based firms to help them secure the bag and consistently attract high-value clients.
I love that you use secure the bag. That's right. It's all about securing the bag, yo. Before we get started, though, I gotta share the story. I gotta share the story, Liz, of us meeting. Okay, so in case y'all don't even know, Liz and I met at Inbound last
Hmm.
year, which y'all know that's a huge marketing conference that is thrown by HubSpot up in Boston. And I actually met Liz through a mutual friend
Yes.
who I met that day, who came to my talk, wanted to ask me a few questions. We ended up, I don't know, just talking. And then I don't know if it was later that night or whatnot, I run into Liz. And we were all like, okay, we're starving because there was like a meetup. And I was like, it's
Mhm.
time for us to get something to eat. So a bunch of us, naturally, when you're at a conference, you want to meet people and stuff. And the best way is to hang out in between events, or let alone afterwards, like especially at night. So we all
Yeah.
pile up into an Uber. I don't even remember what part of town we were going,
Girl, a
but
raggedy part.
but long story short, it was hard for the Uber driver to figure out where we're supposed to be dropped off. We ended up in an alley somewhere, and then we
Girl.
finally figured it out. And then, Liz, you want to pick up the story from there?
Girl, I can't even remember. I just know us walking down this block, walking into one restaurant. It was something wrong with that restaurant. I think you were the one who went to another restaurant. So it was ridiculous, y'all. Like, we just wanted something to eat. And I literally think it was like 3 hours. And we ended up so we had to call another Uber. We
Right.
went all the way back to the hotel to finally just eat at the hotel bar. It was the craziest night. It was so raggedy. Boston, I'll do us like that.
And oh, and come to find out, Liz, because I guess of Inbound and whatever weekend it was Labor Day weekend. So it took forever to get an Uber, but it
Yeah.
comes to find out, but it was storming that night. We could have walked to where we needed to go
Yeah.
instead of waiting for an hour to
Right.
get there and
And
then
I
to
must have
come
got
back.
sick because all I know is you were giving me oils. I'm sniffing oils. Like, it was just a whole situation.
Anyway, I literally consider that like me bonded to Liz for life, because we were just like we had enough of it. And so I had to share that story. Those of you guys who are watching, they're probably like, what are these two talking about? Like, we supposed to be talking about
Man.
video. Listen,
Right.
there's a reason for this, okay?
Mm.
And so, yeah, ever since then, because I didn't know who Liz was before. So, I did a little stalking. I admit, like, I looked you up on LinkedIn, made sure to, like, befriend you on Facebook, because that's what I do when I want to get to know somebody.
Likewise.
And, Liz, you've done a lot, okay? And so, let's talk about it. First things first, why should a business, because I feel like LinkedIn, it came off with a boom. Then there was like a drastic drop. People couldn't figure it out. And
Yeah.
now it's come like a full 360 where people are like, oh, maybe this is something I should really consider. So, for a business owner, just generally speaking, why is LinkedIn a platform that you strongly believe cannot be ignored?
Yeah, for two major reasons. So LinkedIn represents the top 25% of income earners in the US. So average income is there. Some stats say 70,000, some say 109,000. And then furthermore, all of your Fortune 500 companies are there. So if you're a business that serves other businesses or executive professionals, there is no other platform that has your ideal buyers like LinkedIn and that gives you access. Additionally, so LinkedIn, when they study executives in the C-suite, they rank it as their number one platform for professionally relevant content. So there's 63 million decision makers, and there's like 100 and something 7 million senior level influencers. So you can't think of another place to go to get direct access to your corporate buyers, and then be able to message them, send them video, which we'll talk about. There's just nothing that gives you that type of access.
All right. Okay. So for those who are, because right now we're all at home, including these
Mhm.
executives and these different people that Liz just mentioned, and yet they're on LinkedIn. They're all over on LinkedIn. And this is the opportunity. Like, I've been saying this, and you guys will hear me say it over and over. You will not get this attention opportunity ever again. Let's just say, God forbid, another pandemic happens at the time of this. We'll be better prepared. But because this is something where it's thrown us off, like we're deer in headlights, we're all having to spend time at home, right? And either we're watching our TV, we're on our computers, or we're on our mobile devices.
Mm-hmm.
And we're constantly looking stuff up, refreshing things. So those who want to get the attention, you can do it now. You no longer have that excuse.
Yeah.
Before with video especially, it's kind of like, well, I don't have an audience, so no one's gonna watch me anyway. Or if I go live, it's only gonna be a certain amount of people anyway. Well, you no longer have that excuse, and you no longer have excuse of not having enough time because you can't go anywhere anyway right now. So
Right.
it's
Right.
like, take advantage of this right now. And so with that said, you talked about how important LinkedIn is for someone who, because LinkedIn is still a foreign platform to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say would be the greatest way to get started on this amazing platform?
Yeah. So the first thing is to set up your profile. So with your profile, what's a little bit different about LinkedIn from other platforms is that when you set up your profile, you want to set it up to talk to your ideal buyer. So a lot of people, the mistake they make with LinkedIn is they treat it like a job board, and they go on there and like, my job is this, or I'm the CEO of this, and these are all my accomplishments, and yada, yada, yada. So LinkedIn really is about building authentic relationships with other people who happen to have professional titles for the buyer that you want to engage with. And so you first want to set up a profile to just say, what's the outcome that you create for your ideal buyers? Why are you passionate about helping them? What type of social proof do you have? And then once you've built a profile, then it's just filtering and identifying your network. So another great reason why I love LinkedIn is that, say I'm on Facebook or Instagram, I can connect with a ton of people, but there's no real specific way to filter my network. So if on LinkedIn, I'm like, you know what, my ideal buyers are investors,
Mhm.
then I can literally filter LinkedIn and say, I want investors in Texas who are averaging over $2 million in revenue. And LinkedIn will give me all those results. And then now I can say, how do I want to build relationships with these people? So that's another thing. But anyways, I went too far. But to get started,
It's okay. Go ahead.
to get started, set up your profile, and then I would be very strategic about building a strong network, because the last thing I'll say on this point, and I'll hush, is that LinkedIn is wide open. You guys, I can't even tell you how LinkedIn has changed my life, just from speaking opportunities, international clients, access to people that I have no business having access to. But it's a problem for folks like me. They should not have gave me no damn permission to be on LinkedIn. But so but right now only 1% of users on LinkedIn are consistently posting content.
Mm.
So if you want to be a thought leader or an authority in your space, all you have to do is publish content consistently 3 days a week, 5 days a week. And because of the algorithm, your content is going to be seen now by these millions of users on LinkedIn. So it's wide open right now. And a lot of people are studying it and trying to dip their toe in the water. And while they're trying to figure it out, the rest of us are securing the bag on the platform.
There you go. There you go. Thank you for sharing that. And you're right, because I'm wishy-washy on LinkedIn. I'll be frank with you.
Mm-hmm.
And with me talking about this summit, like the first time I posted, it was just a graphic. It wasn't even video. And like within 20 minutes, it said 100 views, and I was like, whoa. Like LinkedIn, if you want that organic juice, because organic is not dead when it comes to LinkedIn, like go on LinkedIn and start posting content.
Mm-hmm.
And I know video just takes it to another level. So before we switch over to LinkedIn video entirely, I know one of the biggest like misconceptions or maybe beliefs, false beliefs that people have about LinkedIn is that, it's transformed a lot. They think, like you said, before they would treat, or, generally speaking, they'll treat it like a job board.
Yeah.
But because, some people are saying, like you just said, you need to get into creating content on a consistent basis. Well, what kind of content? Because people think it's professional, so it's like you got to be extra formal and things like that. So do you have any insight on that or suggestions as far as like the type of content that can be posted on there and it's acceptable, because it's originally it was, launched as like this big professional
Mhm.
platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I say that we're all in the business of people. That's what I teach from training. So we're all in the business of people. And so, however you show up and deliver value to your audience, do the same thing on LinkedIn. So I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on LinkedIn. I'm still the same person behind the scenes of all three platforms. Like,
Okay.
so would I post the same thing on Instagram that I would post on LinkedIn per se? Like, no, I'm not going to probably put the same shade room post on LinkedIn, but I'm still the same person, if that makes sense. So if you look at the influencers who are really disrupting the space in LinkedIn, those are the people who are challenging the status quo, and they're showing up authentically on LinkedIn, because at the end of the day, we are humans who want edutaining content. We want it to be entertaining and educational. So really, it's just getting over your own limiting beliefs about the platform and having the audacity to show up with the value authentically. And that's all you really need to be worried about.
I love that. Having the audacity to show up authentically. That's right. Having the audacity. And like I said, and I can't say this enough, do it now. And even if like some of the stuff you post is not going to take off, so what? That
Yeah.
should not discourage you. And as long as you're showing up as your true self, as Liz just stated, like you'll start to see results. Now, with that said, let's talk about LinkedIn video. So LinkedIn video, I can't even remember when they first launched it, but it's a 10-minute mark maximum. And if you guys want the secret on the juice of LinkedIn, you want to post LinkedIn videos. So,
Yeah.
I just mentioned how I just posted up a graphic, but videos is on another level. So, with that said, Liz, can you talk to us, how you are currently using LinkedIn video for your business?
Absolutely. So there's two parts to my strategy, right? And I'm looking at everything from the lens of how do I close business, right? How am I growing revenue from my business? So if we look at buyer behavior, there's two things that happen. One, trust is at an all-time low, meaning that your buyer is more skeptical than ever. And we all want to feel like we have a relationship with someone. And once we have a relationship or we see them as an authority, then we're more apt to give them the business. So, one, I use video for thought leadership. So, on LinkedIn, you can do status updates, which is like any other post you might put on Facebook or Instagram. And so, with the status update, you can upload a video. And so, I found that having a video between 2 to 3 minutes is the ideal time frame for my audience. It's a professional platform. People are browsing. I found if I make it too long, my engagement drops. So what I do is I just provide like short nuggets. And so I know this is a deeper conversation, but the big point is you need to think about who your buyer is, and when they're deciding to do business with someone like you, what are the thoughts going through their head? What are they looking for to establish trust? What questions are they asking themselves? And I found the best thing then is to create short videos that give my perspective on those questions and then publish them on the platform. And then that becomes twofold because one, I establish myself as an authority and people get to know me for the thing that I teach on. But then two, when someone reaches out to me or I'm in the sales process and they're like, well, how do we approach this? I can say, you know what, I have a quick 2-minute video, I can send it over to you. So then it becomes a sales tool as well. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So that's my inbound strategy, if you will. So
Okay.
I'm using video, publishing weekly videos to establish thought leadership. Now, the real juice for how I make money on LinkedIn, though, are the private videos I send in mail.
Okay.
So I prospect on LinkedIn. So I'll say this. One thing to keep in mind with buyer behavior, I found that most of the people who cut checks with me are not the people liking everything and commenting. They're normally the silent lurkers on LinkedIn, right? They're the silent lurkers who view my stuff, and then next thing I know, I'll have a consultation and they'll tell me that they've been consuming my content. So sometimes don't let analytics fool you, like from a sales perspective. But what I do for outbound, so inbound is how I'm building trust. Outbound is how I'm taking control of my revenue and going after my ideal buyers to establish a relationship. So what I'll do is, let's say, for instance, I'm looking for consultants in Texas and I want to offer them my solution. So what I'll do is on LinkedIn, I'll identify those companies, and I have a cadence of about every day I spend like 15 minutes just sending connection requests to my ideal buyers. And then over time, what I'll do is I'll record a brief video like on Loom or something like that. LinkedIn has their own organic video and messaging. And I'll provide value to them. So I'll do a little bit of research of, one, what's a commonality or some type of human element that I can find to build a relationship with this person? And then what type of business impact can I speak to provide some value on the front end? And so I'll record a simple video like, Jane, I respect what you're doing. I love, you did this with your company. I just wanted to introduce myself to network here on LinkedIn. Also, by the way, I noticed XYZ. Here's a recommendation for that, blah, blah, blah. And I'll send that video through LinkedIn email. And so it's personal, it's one-to-one, I'm providing value, and now they see me as a human being. And my appointment booking rate for that strategy is like 376% higher than any other element, because people see you. It's like meeting in person. It's like our fateful night inbound, because what happens is most of us suck at sales copywriting. Like, I know when I'm trying to write a message to someone or an email, I'm like erasing it 50 times. I'm rewriting it because I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound like me, or that sounds too pitchy. And so we take all this time trying to write these emails and things. And so it's so much easier to say, hey, Joan, what's good? I respect this about you. And so you'll find, because most people aren't getting those messages, it's really powerful. So I've used that strategy to close deals with asset managers, to get in the door with CEOs. It's a game changer. A lot of tech sales companies know to do this, but I don't think your average small business owner knows how to really leverage it. So LinkedIn messaging, they have their own messaging platform. You can send a video to them in email, and that's really where my money comes from on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much for sharing that and just pretty much breaking it down and the whole walkthrough on it. So you mentioned InMail. So can you let those who have no idea what that is, because that's not something that's readily available to everyone, if I'm not mistaken, because I haven't been.
You have it.
Okay.
It's just a fancy word for LinkedIn messaging. Okay. So if you message someone on LinkedIn, it's called InMail, but it's just a message, y'all.
Okay, because the reason why I'm saying that is before, at least back in the day, there was LinkedIn messaging, and then email was like the premium version or something. So it's like some people were able to block off their profile and say, you got to send them an InMail, and in order to do that, you got to have like the professional premium version. So I just wanted to clarify that. Yeah.
No, you're right. So for instance, how they have it now is, if you're trying to send a message to someone you're not connected with, like that's not in your network, then if you don't have a premium account, you have only so many messages you can send. And so that's why the critical part of the strategy is connect to people first, send a connection request. Once someone's in your network, so if we're talking like Facebook, if people are used to Facebook, it's like, I first have to get you to approve my Facebook invite. And then once we're connected on Facebook, then I can message you. That's kind of the idea on LinkedIn, is that you want to invite them to connect. And once they approve it, you can send anyone a message who's in your network.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that. Okay. So there's so many things I want to talk about. Okay. So first things first. Okay. So, I've done some perusing through, some of the things that you talk about. I know one of the major tools you talk about is Sales Navigator. And utilizing that in LinkedIn. So first things first, let's talk about what is the Sales Navigator tool, and then how do you incorporate that, or how can someone possibly incorporate that tool with the LinkedIn video strategy that you just shared with us. So first things first, what is Sales Navigator?
Sure. So Sales Navigator is LinkedIn's platform that's specifically designed for sales activities.
Okay.
So it gives you extra benefits that are ideal if you're using it for sales purposes. So if you're an individual, you'll pay like the first month is free.
Mm-hmm.
So you can test it out for a month, and then you pay $79 per month after that. If you have a larger company and say you have a team of salespeople, you can get it for like $179 a seat. But I pay $79 a month for it. And the reason why I make that investment is that I'm trying to think of how to keep this very simple. So excuse me pausing, y'all. I don't want to
No,
over.
it's okay. Yeah.
So what it helps you do is, so if you use LinkedIn for free, you can only filter people by so much, meaning that I might be able to filter and say, who are the people in my network in this city? I can only search by certain job titles. So you only get so much information. But if I have LinkedIn Sales Navigator, I now can filter all of LinkedIn, meaning that I can say, I want all of the COOs in Paris who are in manufacturing, who have 50 employees, like you can drill, it's insane. Like
Okay.
the search capabilities that you have. So that's one reason why. The other thing is you can tag them. So it becomes like your CRM tools, like your sales CRM. So here's what I mean by that. So if um, let's use it this way. I'm trying to keep it simple.
Yeah.
I can tag using Sales Navigator. I can tag people and say, these people are my current clients. I can say, these are people that I'm in the prospecting phase with. I can tag someone and say, we're in the closing phase, or this is someone that's a strategic relationship. And so because I can now filter, because none of us got a whole bunch of time to be sitting on social media all day, when I have 30 minutes to jump on LinkedIn and I want to think of what's the most strategic way to help advance my pipeline and bring revenue to my business, I can say, well, you know what, in these 30 minutes, I want to see what's going on with the people that I'm prospecting right now. What are they posting? What's top of mind for them? And where did I leave them in our conversation? So through that filter, I can immediately identify, oh, here's the 20 people I'm prospecting. Boom. The other thing, I'm adding another thing. There's a Sales Navigator is so powerful, y'all. I'm trying to keep it really simple.
Sure.
But the other thing is that you can save leads. So when I tag them, they're automatically saved, but you can save leads in Sales Navigator. And so what will happen is when I log into Sales Navigator, it will say, you know what, John, who you said was a lead, he just changed his job title to this. He's now hiring. Here's what he posted. And so it gives you literally a feed of just your people that you're prospecting. Does that make sense? So it's like a whole nother, there's a lot more, but those are some of the things.
Right. So pretty much it like takes filtration to another level.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, and just for those who are curious, because I'm more so familiar with Facebook, you can kind of emulate something like that, y'all, with lists, friends lists, where you have specific people in it, and of course, it's manual, but hey, I mean, you got to put the work in to get the results. But it's a similar where you can have a specific feed and just see what those particular people have recently posted in terms of Facebook. Okay, so that's
and
awesome.
Different with LinkedIn with that is these are people you don't have to be connected with.
Oh, okay. Love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's a way more powerful tool. Okay, awesome. So, those who are watching us, we just covered Sales Navigator. So with that said, you can approach this however you want to approach this. How can one use Sales Navigator in tandem or with video? Do you currently use Sales Navigator with the video kind of strategy and process that you do? Like, what are some things that people can look to consider to do, or just share with us if there's something specific that you're doing with it?
Yeah, so Sales Navigator is really what I use for my intelligence, if you will. So, I identify my leads, I identify people, and even just simple stuff. Like sometimes it's strategic relationships, right? Because sales isn't all about like massive, aggressive prospecting. Sometimes it's just like, these are people that I really like and I want to collaborate with, and I want to keep them top of mind to develop our relationship. And so I use Sales Navigator to keep that, like the intelligence. And then as far as video is concerned, what I'll do then is if I see, If I see like, on Sales Navigator, it shows up in my feed that Monique has now started another company and she just posted this, then what I might do is go back to LinkedIn because it's two different platforms, which is kind of confusing. But I'll go back to LinkedIn and I might then record a video instead of sending this cold, message or something, writing up text. I'll just record a video and just, it's a lot more personable and then send it that way.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. And it's just a matter of doing touching points, right? Because we know in sales, it's like it takes a minimum, I think they say, of 7. Sometimes I feel like it takes way more than that, especially in the social world that we live in right now, the digital world. And then, to me, video is the easiest way to just bang it out versus typing. Like you said, we tend to overthink and things like that. So what sort of tools, what do you use to create your videos? Whether it's in email or just the general content that shows up in the activity feed?
Yeah, so for the regular videos that I'll put as status updates, like those kind of educational, entertaining type videos, for those, I have a ring light. I like to have good lighting when I'm recording those. So I'll have a ring light to record those. Sometimes I'll just do regular, like direct to camera, like webcam recordings. The thing that we found, and you can kind of let me know what you see overall, but for LinkedIn, a lot of people just like candid right now. Like you don't need major production. People just want to know who you are for real, And so however you want to show up, I think consistency is the biggest thing. So that's for the regular status updates. But then as far as tools, I like to track everything. So if I'm going to send a video, if I'm going to send a video through like messaging, I'm going to use something like Loom.
Okay.
So Loom is what I use big. That way I can personalize it. I'll know when they watch it. I'll kind of know how much of it they watched. So I like having that. Another tool, I'm kind of throwing this out, but Crystal Knows. It's CrystalKnows.
Okay.
And so with Crystal Knows, it tells you the personality type of anyone on LinkedIn. So I can go to someone's profile and see, you know what, well, this person's a high D personality type, and it will literally coach you. It will say, don't use these phrases with this person, use this language in your sound bites. And so what I'll do before I send them a video is I'll look at their personality type and see, okay, this person's chatty. I should be a little bit more chatty and personable with this person. Or it'll tell you this person's analytical. Like, so I'll use Crystal Knows before I send the video. I'll do the video with Loom. I'm trying to think what else. There's a couple other tools, but they're not as necessary.
So is Crystal Knows like an AI tool? Like how do they know? How does Crystal know? Like how she know? I'm just saying, like, how does she know?
Brilliant. Yeah, like the company I follow, that I've been following that company for some years. They're brilliant. But yeah, it's an AI tool. It pulls so many data points from individuals. But yeah, and it's Google Chrome. So the cool thing is that if you have Crystal Knows, you can use it in LinkedIn. If you use Slack, it can even pull it in Slack. So if you're messaging a team member on Slack, it'll tell you like, okay, well, this is the messaging to use. So, but I always do that because to me, my mentor told me communication is more than what comes out of your mouth. We're responsible for how it lands in the lap of the other party. So if you're going to do things like video or prospect, you want to think about your audience and how do you need to package your message for them to receive it. So before I send someone a video, I always want to know, how do I make sure it's valuable to them?
Shots fired with that one. Like, let me find out. I need to look up Crystal Knows to see what she think about me.
I can tell you, no.
That's right. Actually, you could tell me because you have that tool. Oh my goodness. Let me find out. Crystal Knows.
I think the first 5 profiles that you view, it's free. So you can get it free for like 5 profiles. You can even do like a free Myers-Briggs type assessment with it. So yeah.
All right. That's a big tool. I've never heard of that. So thank you so much for sharing that. Whoa. To me, that's like a game changer right there. So with that said, you talked about the private videos
Mhm.
versus the value ones that you put
Mhm.
as status updates. What type of videos do you show? Like for instance, your Loom videos. Is that a screen share? Are you just is it just your face? Like what types of things and necessarily for your business, but maybe you've possibly seen of other people that you think
Mhm.
is very beneficial for LinkedIn?
Yeah, for sure. So if I'm sending someone my initial video, I'm not pitching anything. I don't like the word pitch because I ain't never really pitching, right? So I'm just an expert that's providing value to folks
Hmm.
out here in these streets. But
Right.
so in my first message, it's normally just direct to camera. Like I'm just saying hello, I'm introducing myself. There's no distractions, right? Um, for some, and this just depends on what you do to get clients, but I teach my clients to also sometimes offer gateway offerings to people they really want to do business with. And so a gateway offering, for instance, might be, you know what, I did a free audit of this, and here's some suggestions that I have. So if you're going to do something like that, then that would be a screen share. And so I've done that too. I've done free LinkedIn audits for accounts I really want to get into. And so that'll be a screen share. My little head will be in the corner and I'll show my screen. And I'm like, hey, Joan, here's your LinkedIn profile and here's some suggestions I have. And it immediately gets their attention because in the thumbnail, they see that their profile is pulled up and they realize, oh, this isn't spam. This isn't someone massively messaging. This is someone who's actually gone to see me. And so they press play on it. So yeah, it's just, you guys, it's so interesting because a lot of people who come to me have an aversion to sales. They don't like the word sales, but it's really just about building relationships. And if I can just underscore anything, like the importance of this video series is that in this day and age, if you can just consistently show up as you are, provide value, engage your audience, and do like one to one personal communication, you are head and shoulders above the rest. So, regardless if that's in just, live videos or if you're posting, produced videos that provide value, or if you're doing private one to one videos, just um, people need to see that to make buying decisions. And so, from a buyer perspective, people judge your competence within a matter of seconds. So, if I meet someone in person, I've decided in like 5 seconds if you're competent or not. But the majority of what I use to make that decision is visual. So, if you're trying to build a relationship with someone and you don't give them the visual cues to engage with you, you're really handicapping yourself. And so, video just gives us the ability powerfully to build authentic relationships without meeting in person. And then it creates like this global ecosystem. I mean, depending on what you do, if you can do business with anyone in the world, then you need to be out here dropping videos all the time. I don't know what
Yes.
the question was, but
Yeah, no, thank you. And I'm assuming I passed your competence test, or do I need to ask Crystal Knows to figure that out? I mean, I hope I passed it.
you passed. You're good. You're good. Time for you.
But no,
Yes.
all what you just tackled is we're in the economy of trust. Like you said, trust is at the all-time low. And it's like,
Mhm.
how can we get through all the barriers and skepticism that unfortunately those who had ill intentions have created for us? And
Mhm.
I strongly believe that video is the way to do so. And I gotta ask you, like, when you're the strategy that you're presenting to us, have you utilized that for like top of line? Like, because there's a lot of executives on there. We're talking about C-level suite people. Is
Mhm.
like, is it is it still you just being you? Do you have to be a little bit prim or proper? Like, talk to us about that, especially when you're tackling like directly C-level, because that's the thing. With Sales Navigator and like LinkedIn itself, it gives you direct access to
Yeah.
C-level people.
Mhm. It just depends. So since I've been an entrepreneur for 5 years, and all my clients have been clients who are going after asset managers, C-suite executives, founders. That's always been who my business has supported serving. And it varies on the industry. So there are some industries where our first interaction, so if I'm doing an introductory video for anyone that I don't know, if I'm sending an introductory video, I'm going to be a little bit more reserved because I have no clue who this person is. Like, that's like if someone sends you a message you've never talked to before and they're a little bit too casual and comfortable, you're not going to respect it. You know what I mean? So so I'm myself, but I'm not going to be like dropping, F-bombs and things like that in the first message because I don't know you, right? That's just, we all know to be professional. But after that, once I've built rapport with someone, that's what a relationship is about, is that we kind of let more of ourselves in. So what I found, actually, it's really interesting. I had a training, I talked about this before. I have the most inappropriate conversations oftentimes the farther up the totem pole I get. Like this.
I believe it though, because I know you. Like, I believe it. Go.
Yeah. I think most of it is mindset. Like, so much of it is mindset. People are people. Like, if someone is conservative and doesn't want you to speak to them very casually, that has nothing to do with their job title. That has to do with their personality type. Do you know what I mean? And so as business leaders, I'm qualifying a buyer just as much as they're qualifying me. I'm picky about who I want to do business with. And so if you've identified who your tribe is, who you want your people to be, then you show up for your people. And if someone doesn't like how you show up, then guess what? Next, that's not an ideal buyer for you anyway, right? So I don't know. Professional, yes. You're never going to find something of me online where I'm out here just losing my mind, but that's just not who I am.
Right.
And if that's who you are, then you need to find your people, because you don't want to fake them out and then you show up later. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if I'm answering none of these questions.
No, you're right. No, this is great. In fact, Rebecca, who's on here, she said this is awesome information. So keep spitting these gems. Like, seriously.
We needed to play with this first. Yeah. I forgot this is live. Wait a minute.
No, this is great. This is why I had you on, because I was like, I know you and I gonna vibe. So this is awesome. So sorry, I have to collect my thoughts now based on what we. Bear with me, guys. I apologize. Okay. Next things. Based on LinkedIn video, the LinkedIn platform, would you say utilizing video makes you stand out as a female, especially when you're prospecting and things like that? Do you think that kind of caters to that at all, to help distinguish yourself? Let alone, you are African American, so that's another thing as well. But, as far as video, how would you say it makes you distinguish yourself, number one, overall? What effect does it have on people?
Yeah, I think, it's one thing to show up authentically and people are always reading a message. It's another thing to show up authentically, through audio, through a podcast. But to show up authentically on video gives people such a larger view into who you are. And so, I think it's Sally Hogshead who has the quote that she says, it's better to be different than it is to be better. So we're all innately different. Like, none of us are the same. And so by showing up consistently on video, people get a taste of your secret sauce. And so therefore you stand out. And the other quote I love that's in that same vein, I think it was Jimmy Garcia from the Grateful Dead or someone. And he said, you don't want to be the best in the mind of your target audience. You want to be the only. So when people who to solve, you want to be the only person they think of. And so video gives you that advantage. So I can't speak to the fact of, me being a woman or Black or millennial, what those things do. I know in my space, I do hear a lot of, you're a young Black, millennial woman. We don't know many influencers and sales for that. So, but that doesn't mean that's good or bad. I mean, because I'm really not trying to be, anyways, I'm not going to get into that. But the point is, regardless of what color you are or gender, you're naturally different. You have your own innate brilliance. So yes, absolutely. By being on video, it helps to attract those people who will resonate with what you are.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. And honestly, I was kind of struggling with that last question, so thank you for rolling with me on that. So I apologize. I got my thoughts back. I got my thoughts back. So, I would like to say, and maybe you'll let me know, tell me the truth. So for my profile, I love the fact that, so far we talked about LinkedIn video for status updates, LinkedIn
Mhm,
video for InMail. But
mhm.
there's other opportunities to showcase video on your personal profile.
Ooh,
Like you
yeah.
could share the link, like the thumbnail pops up, stuff like that. I mean, at least that's what I try to incorporate in my profile. So since you conduct profile audits, like, can you talk to us about how to utilize video specifically for the LinkedIn profile?
Oh my gosh, y'all, this is like one of my favorite subjects. Okay. So, okay. So, I'm gonna just drop some more stats for a second.
Okay.
So, we know that any buyer, like consumer buyers, particularly your business to business buyer, 67% of their buyer's journey is done digitally. And what that means is before they'll ever jump on a consultation with you or jump on a call with you, they're going to Google you to see what you're about. Are you a thought leader? Do they trust you? Do they like your content? And so what happens is LinkedIn is the top 5 indexing site with Google, which means that it catalogs LinkedIn's content. So if you Google myself, and I challenge everyone watching this to Google yourself, if you Google Liz J. Simpson, my LinkedIn profile is the #1 result. And that's not because I did anything special. That's just LinkedIn's relationship with Google. So even though I've paid for SEO on my website, even though I have a YouTube channel, I've had a YouTube channel for like 7 years, and uh, Google owns YouTube. My LinkedIn profile has better search
Wow,
results, right?
SEO,
So
SEO. So SEO ranking.
SEO. Yep,
Okay.
SEO ranking. So what happens is if you think about it, someone Googles you, even if you refer to someone, like if you were like, girl, you should check out so and so, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna check them out. All right, I'm gonna Google them, right? And so the first thing that's gonna pop up is their LinkedIn profile. And so 90% of buyers will rule out a service provider before they ever talk to them,
Sure.
which means that I'm Googling you. What I find does not appease me, so I'm not interested. So if LinkedIn is one of the top results, that means your LinkedIn profile needs to be optimized for your buyer. What are they thinking about when they're looking for you? What do they want to find? And the beautiful part about video is that you can answer their questions. They can see who you are. They can see your brilliance. How I type something versus how I say it is going to have a different flavor. And oftentimes I can explain something in 2 seconds on video, but it would take me like 3 paragraphs on text, right? So you definitely want to optimize your LinkedIn profile. Again, and so I train, it's like the awareness stage. When are they aware that they have a problem? When they're considering solutions, what are they thinking about? When they're deciding who they're going to invest with, what questions do they have, right? So you want to think about your buyer's journey, and then you want to provide video nuggets that speak to that and provide social proof. I have like 20 video testimonials from clients because trust is at an all-time low. So instead of hearing it from me, you can hear it from my people, right? So I have those video testimonials on my LinkedIn page. I had a client, this was like in November. So I have like a HubSpot meeting link. So,
Mhm.
Calendly, any of those where someone can just schedule an appointment.
Sure.
So I woke up and someone had scheduled an appointment with me, and I noticed they booked it at like 2 a.m. And I was like, who's up here at 2 o'clock in the morning scheduling right appointments? And so I jump on the call with her, and she's like, we weren't connected on LinkedIn, but she saw that I commented on somebody else's post that we were mutually connected with, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Because the other thing about LinkedIn's algorithm is that you can see the posts of other people that you're not connected with. Like, it's so rich. Anyway,
Like the first and the second and the third degree.
yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So it's crazy. But anyways, she and I weren't connected. She saw I commented on someone else's post, and she said she loved the headline because you can just see someone's like
Yeah.
photo in their headline. She was like, I loved your headline. I was intrigued. So I went to your LinkedIn profile page. And then she said that was like at midnight. And she said, I ended up listening to all the podcasts you were on. I ended up watching your videos. So all I had to do was show up to this sales conversation with someone who already knew what she wanted from me. She already felt like she had a relationship with me because of video. And she ended up paying a 4-figure deposit within a couple days after that. So the video on my LinkedIn profile pushed her through the sales cycle. Does that make sense? Like, there's nothing else like this that does this, people. I don't know. Just do it. Do it.
No, oh my gosh, thank you for doing that for real, because you know what, that deserves this. You gotta put them shots fired right there, like. No, but seriously, okay, because I will. So I'm all about video. So I say one of the most powerful form or type of video that any business, no matter what industry you're in, you gotta have video testimonials. Like,
Yeah.
that's your currency. Like, and you
Mhm.
can't have too many of it. Like,
Mhm.
just keep constantly collecting that. So when you were discussing with us your earlier strategy, like, do you ever send video testimonials like in the email process, or possibly when you're utilizing Sales Navigator? I'm just curious.
I've not really sent them then. Sometimes if people will ask, like, for recommendations or things, I'll highlight them.
Sure.
I've never really sent them, though, to be
Okay.
honest.
Okay.
And maybe I should. Yeah, I haven't done that.
Okay.
But they're very, like, if you go to my website or if you go to my LinkedIn page, like, they're positioned in a way that you can't miss them. Like, literally the whole bottom half of my web page is nothing but testimonials. So
Yeah.
like, I want people to see my receipts, but I've never like pushed them on them yet.
Yep. But indirectly you are pushing it on them because it's all right there. Yeah. No, I love that. And okay, so where was your meeting link? How was that positioned for her to go ahead and book it at 2 a.m.? Where was it on your profile? Like, where was it?
Okay, I see you, journalism. So
I mean, I'm just saying, you spitting the jets. I gotta hear the whole picture.
yes, no. So the call to action, right? So if you're going to optimize your profile, any platform that you're on, people want to be told what to do. So the next step is, so on every platform, I'm telling people the next step is you can schedule a complimentary consultation with me here. And so the link is there. So she went through the content, she saw the call to action, and she clicked the link to schedule the appointment.
I love it. And then I'm assuming, because you say you like to track, and I'm all about tracking, especially with video. I feel like that's a major step that people miss and don't get. And I'm like, how can you tell me video doesn't work and you don't even track it? Like, stop the nonsense. So I'm assuming that link is something that you're tracking as well, so you could see. Okay, I love it. Like, creating this whole system. All right,
Yeah,
this
you
whole
can track the
system.
links. And the other thing that I needed for video is I'm long-winded. Like, I'm that person, if you're like, just write a simple article, it's so much easier for me to like throw up on the page than to write just a couple paragraphs.
Right.
So I'm like that. I'm long-winded, and so I'll find myself candidly trying to record a video, and 20 minutes later, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm still talking. And so the power of the metrics is I noticed people weren't staying that long, and so I realized as a business owner, we got to get out of our egos. A lot of times we do what we want to do, and we want to force people to buy how we want them to buy, but then we're mad when our business isn't profitable. And so even for me, I have to check myself, like, yeah, that's easy for you to sit there and talk and listen to yourself talk for 20 minutes, but does your buyer value that? And so by metrics, I saw that buyers are only engaging on the video for 2 to 5 minutes. So I need to get better at giving them exactly what they need. And through that challenge, I actually find you could say a lot in 2 minutes. So if you script out what you need to say, you can get to the point very succinctly. And that would be my challenge, because there may be people, you may have viewers that'll stay on longer, but at least the analytics will tell you. I just find on LinkedIn and from my buyers, they're busy. They want you to get to the point. They're not going to stay for a long time on your video.
Okay. Girl, can you believe it? Like we're almost at an hour and I got three other questions. So,
Are you serious?
okay.
We're good.
Let, let's get through this. All right.
Yeah.
So, um based on what you said, LinkedIn is definitely a platform that really drives your business.
Mhm.
So, when you meet someone, do you push them? Do you connect with them? Do you push them to your LinkedIn profile before your website? Like what takes higher rank? What takes precedence for you?
LinkedIn all day.
All right.
So I have a training where I talk about I can't stand business cards because they're static. So the thing about sales is they are relationships, and just like any relationship, it means that we have to check in on each other. We have to maintain that relationship. And the beauty of LinkedIn, if you're using video, is that even if I don't talk to you every day, if you consistently see my videos on the platform, it's dynamic. I'm making deposits, you're learning from me, I'm maintaining top of mind. There's a stat that says only 3% of people you meet will be ready to buy what you have when you meet them. So you want to
Mm,
make sure you maintain enough so that when they're ready to buy, you're the first person they think of. So I send everything to LinkedIn because I can make deposits with content, and then I can reach out to them, and then it's always going to push them to my website.
got it. Love it. Okay. So you talked about tracking. I'm assuming LinkedIn has their own dashboard of analytics and insights and stuff. So what kind of things that we can look at on the back end of a video to see if it's working, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, for views. So LinkedIn will tell you amount of views, likes, and sharing.
Okay.
Um, so views and engagement are good. So oftentimes you just want to look at your engagement score of, dividing views and adding, comments and likes and dividing that by views to see what your engagement score is. So you can look at that. There's another app called Shield, and Shield, I think I paid $30 a month, and that will give you deeper analytics if you really want to geek out on LinkedIn. But if you're just getting started, you just want to look at your views, comments, engagement that way.
Okay. You you and these tools, man, like we're gonna have to have a separate conversation. Let's talk about these tools. I'm still can't get over the Crystal. Crystal knows. She be knowing, guys. She knows. Okay.
The Rona got me over here trying to cancel all my tools. I'm like, is this still billing me?
Right.
Am I using this? Yeah.
Okay. Now, dang, what was the last question I had? Bear with me, guys. I apologize because it was something really juicy and good and I can't remember. Okay, I'll just do what we normally do to kind of like towards the end. So let's talk about the people who've been in business for a while, right? And they're on LinkedIn. Maybe they've tried video and kind of hit a rut. Like, what tips can you provide those who they're ready for video? We already tackled those who are complete newbies, but those who are veterans and they're looking for a way to drive even more attention. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
are some tips that you can share for those individuals?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer for you guys. So we do LinkedIn management for clients, and I
Okay.
love those type of people because I'll do a 1 hour call a month, and I'll say, what are you hearing in your latest conversations? What's something that your buyers are concerned right now? And we'll do a Zoom call, right? I'm like, they don't have to take notes. I'm just pulling from them, like, what are your buyers talking about? What are they concerned about? And that's content right there. So in a couple hours, I can create a month's worth of content in a couple hours. It's 4 topics that I'm repurposing, right? That's all I'm doing a month. So that's one beautiful thing is you're having so many conversations. You know your buyers, you know exactly what to present to them. So that's the inbound side, right? The thought leadership side. The other side is the sales side. So if you're established, that means you probably have a rich network of people that you're not maintaining enough communication with. So you could go on LinkedIn and filter your first degree connections. Like these are people that I have a relationship with. Maybe these are clients that I haven't worked with for a year or two. And I would just record a simple video, especially now, like right
Okay.
now, while everyone is going through some type of emotional process. I would pull a list of all my clients that I haven't worked with in a while, and I would record a video and say, Jane, you crossed my mind. It's been a while. How are the kids? Blah, blah, blah. And I would send that video, and now we can reconnect and re engage. So I would be doing those two things.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so I had some other additional questions, so I'm gonna
Sure.
spit them out.
I'm here for you.
So LinkedIn is primarily known to be comprised of B2B people.
Mhm.
Can B2C people still be successful on this platform? And I'm assuming, like, how
Mhm.
can they utilize video to be successful on this platform as well?
Yeah, the exact same way. So this works for B2C. You just want to make sure your buyer's on the platform.
Sure.
So for instance, I work with a lot of I won't say a lot. I work with financial services professionals
Sure. Yeah.
who are not B2B,
Mm-hmm.
but they want higher net individuals who are concerned about those things. So they're buyers on LinkedIn. So I would take the same approach we've been talking about the whole show and use that. Who I would say they shouldn't really use it is if your buyer is someone who's not going to be on LinkedIn, typically you don't want to use it. So I've had one client who was more the restaurant industry. If I'm managing a restaurant, I'm really not going to be on LinkedIn. So you just want to think about, do they use the platform? And if they do, it's open season. It's fair.
Got it. And then kind of just to dig in it deeper, what if someone is B2C? Like I'll talk about myself. Shoot, I'm gonna get
Good.
these
Yep.
answers. So primarily my business is B2C.
Mhm.
I want to go over to LinkedIn and tackle B2B. Like, what would you say would be the easiest transition to make that happen, whether it includes video or not?
Okay, I'm gonna laser coach you real fast. So who's your buyer? Mhm.
Okay, so my buyer is someone who owns a business. They're the face, but they have a team behind them. So they don't even know, but it seems like, I don't want to say they're solopreneur, but someone who is an expertise and they're looking to have their online expertise distributed online, utilizing the medium of
Mhm.
video.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give a couple examples of how I might approach that. So
Okay.
say for instance, lawyers are a great example of that. So lawyers tend to need to be the face of their firm, right? They have a team, they probably have a marketing team, but marketing still needs to leverage that lawyer's face. So then that would be one industry. So then I would filter by all the lawyers who probably have a firm of 15 or less employees who are in my state, and then maybe who are second degree connections because it means we have a mutual connection. And so I would reach out to them. And then I would think, okay, who else is another one? Okay, consultants who have less than. So, like, you want to think in pockets,
Okay.
like, what's the job title? What do they do? And then filter and reach out to them that way.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Love it. Love it.
Okay.
Love it. Love it. Yes. Okay. There was another question I had. Okay. Have you created like a process or a workflow? So I know you create most of your content for LinkedIn, but do
Mhm.
you utilize any of that content and cross promote it on other platforms? Can you talk to us about that and how you go about doing that?
Yeah, just for my business, LinkedIn right now is my primary driver, but I still cross pollinate across other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, so what I'll do is all of the content I share to everything else. I'm right now, I know some people change their messaging. I really don't have time for all that. So it's normally the same caption on Instagram and Facebook. So my videos I'll share across the board. The only thing that's different is I do LinkedIn articles. And so I normally have to drive people to like my link tree to access the article.
Got it.
But if you're doing video, though, everything I put on LinkedIn, I would put on the other platforms. And I also share it to YouTube too.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
And native, right? So everyone
Yeah.
knows, just like every other platform, LinkedIn cannot stand links. So one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is that they'll share links. Stop doing that. So with your video, you want to natively upload it directly to LinkedIn. LinkedIn will allow you to also upload the captions there.
Mhm.
And they also have a thumbnail that you can upload. So just like you would like on a YouTube, you do the same thing on LinkedIn. So you want to do that. And ideally, you want to use about 3 hashtags. So
Okay.
I always post with hashtags. So you want to think about, who do I want to really see this? So if it's financial services, what you can do to check how good your hashtag is you can just go in the search bar and put like hashtag consulting, hashtag business, see how many people follow that. And you want to put that in your post. The beauty is because LinkedIn has such a great algorithm, you'll be surprised how easy it is to trend on LinkedIn. So I'm trending like every week on LinkedIn for different things, like for business, consulting, financial services. which just means even more people are exposed to your messaging. So anyways, you natively upload on LinkedIn, and yes, I cross-pollinate to other platforms.
Got it. Now, one thing that I can't believe I totally forgot about this. So, we talked primarily about LinkedIn status updates. What about the LinkedIn articles? So, those people who aren't familiar, there's the opportunity for you to create your own blog posts, if you will, within the LinkedIn platform. And in fact, the previous guest that I've had in the last edition, we talked about whether you could embed LinkedIn videos directly in them. And actually, I was able to figure it out. Now, I don't know, it's not something that people know off the top of head, like it's kind of a thing, but do you utilize the LinkedIn articles feature, and whether you use video in it or not?
Yeah, so I love LinkedIn articles. So the thing with LinkedIn articles is they right now have the richest SEO for LinkedIn's content. So we talk about LinkedIn indexing and the Google indexing. So you get increased SEO for LinkedIn articles. So that's one of the things that's amazing about the articles, as well as now those become thought leadership pieces. So a lot of times my posts will get more views than my LinkedIn article.
Okay.
But the LinkedIn article gives me the opportunity to go deeper. So I found that if someone's in a sales conversation with me, just like I can send them to a video, if I send them to an article, it helps with the sales process more. I found studies that have said, for whatever reason, that if you embed video in the LinkedIn article, it drops the views. That was about a year ago. I don't know if it's improved. So I've been testing with that. Like today, I think I just linked to another. So how I've tried getting around that is you can link to another LinkedIn post in a LinkedIn article. I know this probably sounds so confusing, but like, say you do a status update on LinkedIn and then later you do an article.
Sure.
You can copy the link from the LinkedIn post and put it in the article. And so what I've tried doing to see if LinkedIn will like that, I'm still testing it, is to see if I post the video as a status update and then link to another LinkedIn content in the article, will they like that better than an embedded video? So we'll see.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And just to dig a little bit deeper on that. So let's just say, for instance, okay, let's talk about this. Like, you're spitting so much great stuff. I take a snippet from this, okay, from this. I put it on LinkedIn as a status update, the 10-minute max, maybe. Okay, no, you said they need to be shorter. So let's just say 2 to 3 minutes. I take a juicy tip from what you just shared in the whole show. I create a status update. And I want to do a LinkedIn article. So is the status update like a teaser and say, and then do you put something like, if you want to see the full thing, like put a link to the art? Like how do we make that work? Like what is your process of making that work?
So what I do weekly now is I have one topic. And on that one topic, I record a 2-minute video. And so I'll kind of tell y'all what I do now. So Mondays, I share that video. And so with the video, I'll just have a quick teaser, like you said, like 40, I have copywriters, so I know everything down to word count, 40 to 100 words. So, because we do this for companies. So I'm like, I can give you word count and everything. So we do a status update, we share the video, and we're just doing a short teaser, like 40 words to say, because headlines still matter. You want to make sure you have a headline to capture attention and then just tease what it is. You ideally want to have captions because most people won't watch it, they'll view it. So that's Monday. Then Tuesday, what I'll do is I'll take that same video, and now instead of it being a video, I take the transcription of the video and I clean it up and I turn it into an article. And ideally, if an article's between like 500 to 750 words, that's enough. And you'll find if you, like, I do 2-minute videos and it's easily like 700 words worth of content. So Monday I do a video, Tuesday I do an article, which is just re-saying that in written form. And then Wednesday I turn it into a document. So the thing that's unique about LinkedIn is you can upload documents. So like PDFs, infographics, PowerPoint presentations, right? Those type of things. And so what it'll do is, like, if I do a video on 3 tips for this, Monday's the video, Tuesday's the article, Wednesday is a beautiful Canva PDF that says 1 tip, 2 tip, 3 tip, right? So now that's 3 days of content from 1 2-minute content piece, right? And then Thursday, Friday are kind of my days to be more personable or post other things, because on LinkedIn, you really only want to post once a day because the algorithm's so rich. I mean, I'm still getting views and likes from content that I posted a couple weeks ago. So I try not to do too much
Sure.
with it. Does that kind of answer? Like, that's kind of how
No. I love that because, well, whether you like him or not, Gary V,
Yeah.
he takes set on a platform. Like, if you listen to his more recent podcast, he's pushing people to LinkedIn and TikTok, right? But
Yeah.
at the time of this show, we're going to talk about LinkedIn, and he's like saying, when he's talking to big brands, he's telling like the E team to post 3-4 times a day, so or more. And so, but I like what you're saying because it makes it easier and feasible, and maybe you can work up to that. But I like how you're saying it's rich. Now, what I want to
round. Like, I tried that. I used to do, I'm telling y'all because I did it. I think I was probably pissing people off. It is not like an Instagram or a Facebook.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. I'm trending on stuff I posted a week and a half ago, and people, the way their algorithm is, things linger. So honestly, if you do 20 posts a month, I would maybe say 30 now, because now people are actually engaging on weekends.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's crazy and it's like, oh, I had a post, but then someone shared something and I have to do it, that's fine. But from a programming and planning aspect, I really would not plan more than 1 post a day.
Okay.
Like, I say y'all do it for 2 weeks, and when y'all see what I'm saying for like how long your posts hang out, like, people are like, why is she posting every hour on the hour? You're gonna drive people crazy.
Got it. So pretty much, those of you guys who are watching, this is also a main reason why you should do LinkedIn, because you have longer shelf time. Like, versus Twitter, you got a few seconds. Instagram, maybe a couple of minutes, if that. Facebook, maybe 24 hours, maybe, depending. But you got longer shelf life there.
Yeah.
And you brought up a good point. So with the PDFs and stuff, how does SlideShare come into it? Because I know in SlideShare you can incorporate videos. Do you still use SlideShare? Like, is that part of your content process at all?
I thought about it. Yeah, I'm trying to consider. I think SlideShare is a great idea. It just depends on your industry. I think it's a great tool. I think it's a great tactic. I did it around inbound. I actually put my inbound slides on SlideShare, and it's great for SEO. The only reason I'm hesitating now, and the jury's out, is I had a mentor who said that I was giving away my proprietary knowledge, and that there's some things that I should hold back on. So it just depends on your buyer. Some of the industries I was going into, they take PowerPoints and they copy them and then do all type of crazy stuff. So that's the only reason I've held back. But SlideShare is bomb. So like, SlideShare is pretty much kind of like LinkedIn's PowerPoint, viewer that you have. And so I would definitely use it.
Okay. All right. Good to know. No, I love that. One last thing before we wrap it all up. So, you talked about, you had it down to 450 words, I would say. I've seen different schools of thought. So, as far as like posts, are you all about that long form content or short? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's one of those things I think people should do them. I think it varies. Like, my husband is one of those people who, he's not going to read something long.
Sure.
I'm a reader. So it just depends on your content piece. So I'm long-winded. The people who mess with me, I find my my email list, they're used to my longer copy, so that's what works for me. I think it's really just having your own style of that, and then of course looking at your views. So let data tell you what to do. So I'm long-winded. I keep watching the data. What's interesting, for instance, I found that people consume, so if I'm being technical and I'm teaching a skill set, my audience has a shorter attention span. If I'm doing something that's more emotional or personally driven, they'll read more. So I'll give you an example. I've done some LinkedIn articles about like leadership and greatness and like personal struggles, and they've been close to 2,000 words, and I've gotten some of the best engagement on it. I promise you, if I did a 2,000 word post on LinkedIn analytics, it would not have gotten nearly the same amount of attention. So it just depends on the topic. Like being authentic and personal, people tend to watch or engage longer.
I love it. I love it. In fact, one of our live viewers told us to ask Crystal. She would know the answer to what we were just discussing. Oh, man. That is gonna be a joke for the longest, man. Crystal be knowing stuff. So okay, right. One last thing. I keep saying that, but yo,
that's okay.
When it comes to videos or even LinkedIn in general, you talked about one specific call to action. What do you say are the best call to actions? Because I teach that, like with my, with videos, you cannot have a video and not have a call to action. Otherwise, in my strongest opinion, it's a waste of time. And number two, what I've learned, and I even talked about this at Inbound last year that I met you, is the more you present that call to action, of course, in a conversational way, not a key way, the more likely you're able to convert. So based on your personal experience, what sort of calls to action, especially with video, that have, worked for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Giving something away. So I've tested this so much. A lot of people in the industries I serve, like professional services, businesses, they like to get everyone to a consultation, but everybody and their mama knows consultation is code for you're about to pitch me. So people don't naturally want to do that unless they're already somewhat sold. And so I found that offering them something. So like for one client, we did a state of the industry report, offering that, and they had 78 leads in a matter of weeks. And when I say leads, they were commercial asset managers and executives. For me, I offered like a LinkedIn profile guide, and that I'm getting constant like opt-ins every day. So I would say, again, it goes back to your buyer's journey. What are their questions? What are they concerned about? And then how can you answer some of their questions in some type of juicy offering? And then tell them, hey, if you want to learn more, text this or whatever to get this free guide. And then the job of technology is let your opt-in sequence upsell them to the consultation. You know what I mean? Like you just want the information first and then let technology upsell them later. So those are my recommendations. One last thing I'll say on this too, a lot of people mess this up, so I'm going to say this.
Okay.
When people send videos or try to pitch, what they do, and it drives me batty, they'll just send you stuff. So like I'll get an email of, here's my PDF for how coaches can do blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no one asked you to do that. Even if you think something's valuable, if I haven't said I wanted it, I don't see it as value. I see it as you spamming me. So when we're prospecting on LinkedIn or you're doing videos, if you're reaching out to someone and you say, you know what, Joan, I see you're a coach. I have a report on blah, blah, blah. Let me know if you're interested. I'll send it over. And then you wait for them to respond and say they want it, and then you send it.
Love it. Okay, thank you. And then I promise this is the last question. The last one. Okay, so you're so familiar with sales. How many steps are in the sales cycle on average, and can video be used in every step of the sales cycle?
Absolutely. So if we're talking about, so I have like the big money sales system that I do. So it's attraction, where I'm trying to attract them. Then it's the discovery phase. Then it's the proposal phase. I'm closing them. And then there's the handoff. I still include that in sales because how we onboard them is still important. So when I'm trying to track them, we just said we're doing video to establish thought leadership and we're doing video to prospect, right? When I'm doing discovery phase, I can jump on Zoom because if I want to build that relationship and the know, like, and trust, I want to give them all the data points to know that they like me, right? When I'm proposing, I'm jumping on Zoom again. It's half screen share where I'm doing the proposal, but they also see my face, right? When I close them, I'm back on Zoom. Or you can do these things in person as well. But, Yeah, video you want to use for all these steps. Onboarding, I'm sending a video. I'm so excited to start this project with you. Whoop, wop, the bam, I send it over. So video should be a part of each step. Yes.
Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Oh my goodness. First of all, this is, it's supposed to be an hour, even though we went over.
Amazing.
But I knew this was going to be a lot of fun hanging out with you and all of that. And so, with that said, though, Liz, like, let people know. Well, obviously, y'all just look up Liz J. Simpson and on LinkedIn to find her. But how can people find you otherwise online, your website, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, if you just Google Liz J. Simpson, you're good. So LinkedIn is, probably the best way for us to connect. So yeah, and all the nuggets and guides and things like that are on my LinkedIn profile.
And I don't know if you guys realize, but she like was dropping outside of her amazing strategies. She has courses. She has specific methods and things like that. So I would definitely strongly implore you all, especially if sales is something that you cringe or it's not something that you are familiar with but you want to get better at or possibly just help, reach out to Liz. Like, I meet a lot of people who are in your space, Liz, and maybe it's the story of us bonding, but I will say you are one of the best out there that I've met. No, seriously, and I'm not just saying this, because I don't know, because I know you, but I know a lot of people, and in fact, I don't even want to say their names. People who are, I guess you could say, LinkedIn consultants who go about it in a way that's either sleazy to me, like you said, or they'll just send you their LinkedIn profile latest tips and things. And I'm like, I didn't ask you for that. And I will say, you're the only one I've come across thus far who uses video. That is one thing that when I see them, I'm just like, why aren't y'all using video? Or even in the LinkedIn InMail private messaging platform, why aren't y'all using video? And so I just want to, give a shout out to you for that. And I think what I noticed lately too is that you can do LinkedIn video ads within the InMail system now or something. I started seeing that popping up or whatever. But anyway, I just want to thank you for taking out the time. And, I just love what you're doing. And I said this last time, but seriously though, seriously, I need to get on that them LinkedIn streets and secure the bag for me because like you said, it's a higher price point, you're able to accumulate and stuff. So yeah.
Bro, all you have to do is repurpose your old stuff and you'd have a year's worth of content in a day. You have so much stuff. But no, this was an honor. I wholeheartedly respect what you do and your genius. And so many people get stuck on like how they show up on video. I know that's a big barrier for people, but it's who you are in real life. So I just really respect you being out here and teaching it to people. And I'm honored that you would bring me onto your platform. So, and this was fun. Like I had a blast.
Yeah, most definitely. I knew I was going to have fun. I was like, guys, normally I try to get on like 5 minutes before we're supposed to go live. And I normally go through a whole checklist. With Liz, I was like, girl, we just gonna go with it and go with the flow. And she's like, all right, let's just do it. Let's just hang out. So hopefully those of you guys who are watching this, whether live or not, you got a lot of stuff out of it, okay? If you had a notebook, I'm sure you were taking copious amount of notes and et cetera, et cetera. Those of you guys, thank you so much for being here. This is our second guest for today. We won't have another day like this until Friday, but we still have guests for the rest of the week. But I just loved that both you, Liz, and Dre, y'all were going to bring it. And so I'm glad that we had you guys at the earlier part of the week because this is a great way to kickstart. Guys, it's all you need is your webcam. Don't use this that I'm using because I admit this is a fancier equipment setup for me at least, but just use your webcam and just use this. And the LinkedIn app has the LinkedIn video in there, so you can even record directly within a LinkedIn app. Don't make it too complicated. Liz really, really, really broke it down for you, so you really don't have an excuse. So, with that said, I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Alice Seba at 2 p.m. Eastern. Liz, do you have any parting words before we sign off?
No, make sure you guys stay tuned all week, and thank you again.
Awesome. All right, guys, I'll see you for the rest of the week.